Here's the 2013 Eurail Guide. Here's service between Brussels and Amsterdam using the expensive Thalys service and the relatively newer Fure service, which does bypass Antwerp, Antwerp, and Anvers. And since March, there is now guides specifically for service between Belgium and the Netherlands, as well as the Flemish, Dutch, and French service, and now the International City Service. That's the one that takes no reservations, now runs from Brussels to Den Haag, The Hague, La Haye, or from Antwerp, Anvers to La Haye on the weekends for the international free service. There's a notable mistake. It's not crucial in the international services listed in the Belgian timetable, and it's from Anvers, Antwerp to Paris. And the heading's right, but you'll notice the timetable lists Paris twice instead of starting with Antwerp. That's in the International Guide. In the 2013 Eurail Guide, there's not so much an error, but a bad planning when making it from Brussels to Berlin. While the time showing from the 6 o'clock train ICE reservation-free changing at Cologne is correct, take the train that is 20 minutes later, which always does travel, and they get together and get coupled in Ham.
Here's what remains of the international service between the Netherlands and Belgium. The train no longer goes to Amsterdam, it goes to Den Haag, Hollandspoor. So if you want to make a change going to Amsterdam, you might be better off doing it in Rotterdam. Notice this only runs weekdays from Brussels. Doesn't stop at Gare du Nord for the possibility of connecting to the ICC service to Germany, and on the weekends you must take it from Antwerp.
So I'm going from Germany to the south of France along the newest high-speed route in France, which is between Strasbourg and Lyon. The direct train would have had a 30 euro or 13 euro charge, first or second class. I found a better connection. By the way, notice there's 2 tickets for that type of a train. And in doing so, I connect through Basel. You go from the Swiss station to the French station. Saved me the extra supplement, got a better direct service, and something to think about.
Here in Cologne, Germany, there's a new U-Bahn metro stop right from the main train station in Cathedral Dome to Party Central Rathaus on Line 5. You can walk it, though, if you like. Well, here in Munich, I'm taking the train to Italy, the Euro City, which used to be the only way you could get into Italy without paying a reservation. And they don't charge a... Boy, you're sure going to need one, though. And they now charge an Ausweis. That's a fee the Italians charge. And I might as well get the reservation with it. Still cheaper than some of the other routes.
Here are exemplars of the new charge. It's not a reservation, it's not a supplement, it's an Aufpreis for travel in Italy on the Euro City trains from Munich to Verona, Venezia, and Bologna. And it's 10 euros first class and 7 euros second class.
This is the Italo train, which is a private service, and your rail pass is absolutely not valid on it. It's noted for direct service, not stopping in the center of towns, and making for fast connections between the major Italian cities. In Italy, the signs for the cutouts of the cars are indicated by these nice indicators. In France, they're on a single television board. In Germany, they are located on a sign. The first class are color-coded yellow. In almost all the other countries, it's your best guess. Well, there is regional non-reservation service between Rome and Florence Firenze, taking almost 5 hours. The reservation is now only 10 instead of 20 euros, like a couple of years ago for the fast trains, which takes about an hour and a half. And you won't be able to search for that on the station computers, but if you go on the internet, bahn.de or oebb.at for the Austrian version, you'll have to specify no ICE service to be able to find the regional trains instead. Bologna, they have tracks that are numbered Centrale, and they have tracks that are numbered Oeste. Watch it. These helpful ticket booths and the train stations in Italy also can provide you train information, and you have to pass through this warning saying watch out for anything. You go to the buy a ticket, you can change your departure, you can select your destination, pretend you're buying a ticket, and you've got the idea. Here in Italy, the validating machines, which are required, here's the old one on the left and the new one on the right. You just stick it in like that. I know there's a joke there. And you have it validated, stamps it. Also, that's required more so in France. While it's generally a good idea to buy your tickets outside of Spain, saving the gastos charge of up to €1, it's also notable that you can be saving substantially getting second-class service, but do pay attention to the AVI service. It's listed with a T and a P for tourist and preferente instead of the 1 and the 2, so don't make that mistake. I'm using the German automatic computer and timetable, and unlike the French, Portuguese, Swedish, Finnish, and Italian ones, they will give complex, multiple train timetables and print them out. Here's a French ticket machine where you again can get your train information, and you pretend you're buying a ticket, and again you will only have those in the circuit, and they only do pairs of trains. Better to do it in Germany. Well, as it turns out, the problems with the catenary for the high-speed train between Paris and Barcelona Sants continues with the requirement of a change. Still, it's a guides de la fond. Here's the French validating machine, composte if you like, and you're supposed to do it on French travel with French tickets, and international travel is normally not required, and also the foreign German tickets won't fit into the machine. There's a joke there somewhere. A lot of the regional trains, still marked as regional trains in Germany, are actually run now by private companies with different liveries, but do note for first class, there's that yellow stripe. Throughout Belgium and Germany, for the last couple odd years, the toll-free numbers, the 0800 numbers, have a proprietary relationship such that they do not work in most payphones on the streets and even in some hotels. I found an exception here at the U-Bahn station in front of Zoologischer Garten here in Berlin. So here I'm in Brussels, and I'm going to Antwerp, Anvers, but watch it, the IR is the regional train, far slower than the inner city, and it's scheduled to be at the same time on the same track. Worth the wait for the inner city. Well, I'm here in Antwerp taking a train to Lille, Flanders, as opposed to Lille Rope. A direct train, only actually once a day and only a couple of times a week to the western part of France, also saving that international surplus charge. And the 752 is listed, and that's the one I'm going to take. The 852 is not listed in the timetable. I think it's a mistake. But had I done the 852, which I've done before, and missed the train because the connection is so tight, I think I'm content with the fact I'll take the earlier train. Gives me a chance to do the pretty good shopping in Lille, Flanders. The French Corail Intercity, which they recently renamed, usually takes no supplements, as is the case in many European countries that bear the name Intercity or IC, with the exception of Italy and Portugal. Spain doesn't have any trains usually called IC trains. Here's a reservation where I have not successfully avoided the French-German high-cost travel for international trains. €30 first class, €13 second class. Do note it comes in 2 tickets, one for the reservation and one for the fee. These need to be booked in advance, but not so far in advance that not available because there's only a few allocated to pass holders. I'm connecting between Paris-Lyon and Paris-Nord-Est, and I'm using the Contomark, which you can get. They're only valuable at stops that are associated with trains, and you cannot use them, I know for sure, if you're trying to go into the interior of Paris. Ask for a Contomark. And by the way, mention a station that you're going to, such as Charles de Gaulle. That'll always work. Here's the Spanish train ticket computers. They now allow specific trains and timetables, but no combinations. And that just means you're really just buying the same information you just get off a timetable. Here's the map for connecting with the Westbahnhof over here and the Hauptbahnhof, also called Südtiroler Platz. You change it using line 3 to Simmering, or going back, going toward Kregen on the 1, changing to Otterkring. Here's the new Vienna Hauptbahnhof, formerly the Südbahnhof, serving trains going to the east, the north, and the northwest. The trains going from to and from Budapest to Munich don't currently stop here. Their faster service is only because they eliminated a number of stops, but they do stop at Vienna West. Well, it's a little bit confusing here at the new Vienna Hauptbahnhof. Tracks 1 and 2 are for the S-Bahn, that's local service, and tracks 9 through 11, at least what they're called so far, you got to go all the way to the other side. This is Bratislava, Slovakia's main train station, Hlavná stanica, often abbreviated HL and an ST. Do not confuse it at all with the other Bratislava station, which not only on the other part of town, across the river, and I can vouch, is not walkable. Here in Bratislava, I'm taking the inner city. It does take a mandatory supplement, as is the case in Portugal and Italy. Again, be reminded, notice the platform numbers are given, not the track numbers. So that means there's half as many because there's 2 tracks to every platform, usually.
In updating Vienna, we should actually note that the Hauptbahnhof is really the old Südtiroler Platz, and the old Südbahnhof is now Belvedere. The possibility is also noted for connecting to the West Bahnhof station here in Vienna via Meidling, and then via the U-Bahn number 5.
Here in Mannheim, trying to get the train to make a connection through Basel, so I bet a better connection to Mulhouse for the Strasbourg to Montpellier one-time-a-day high-speed TGV French train on the newly opened northbound-southbound route on the east side of France. And the computer, as well as the ticket computers here in Germany, show using the later train to Basel. But I'm going to take the earlier train because the connection there in Basel's tight. And if you don't think that's relevant, look at the one going to Basel that's 2 hours late. This is the Basel Ball, if you will, in French, a train station in Switzerland where you can change to and from French trains. And the numbering system's backwards. That's right. The 30s, that's the S and CF, are down here, and they start with the low numbers up there. Go figure. In this case, literally.
In the 2013 Eurail timetable, there's a slight notational error. In going from Nice to Brussels, the relatively inconvenient change from Gare de Lyon to Paris Nord shows a TGV service from Gare de Nord to Brussels, which is clearly incorrect. It's a Thalys service.
I'm here on Madrid's Barajas Terminal 4, transferring to Terminal 2, coming in on the Cercanía, relatively a year-old line, number 1, where you could use your pass. Saved me the horrible metro trip, which had a dozen more stops, and also it saves me that horrible walk from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2. As we go along Spain's high-speed route, one of the newest in Europe, one has to wonder why people oppose it back home. Back home, the
the arguments about it not producing enough income are obviously spurious, given the fact that, well, even the freeways don't make money, even if they're toll roads. The arguments about whether or not it serves enough people, well, the idea that of being able to get to and from one city to another in less time than it takes to check in is its own reward.